That's Tabytha Polaris with Earth. So the voice of NASA Community College, 90.3 WHPC. As always, this is Rick Eberle, and this is Rising Stars. And we are blessed once again to have a live studio audience listening to our live. Well, she's not quite live. She's live with us, but we don't have her in here with us because we're still in the quarantine situation. But we are very happy to have a good friend of mine for a long time. We were just discussing this off air, but I digress. It is Tabytha Polaris. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
No problem. And it's Polaris. I know I said it twice.
Yeah, like the star.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's just my Long Island accent. Polaris.
Polaris is the brightest star in the sky, and Tabytha means grace.
I love it. So, yeah, you have a really diverse and interesting story, and I don't know what you want to call it. I don't want to say business because it's more than that, but it is a business, but it's also, your personality. And so obviously Earth and Water, which we're going to play a little bit later, are your new singles. But on Christmas time, you also had two beautiful Christmas tracks that you had sent us, and we had put those on our Christmas show. You have a wonderful voice. And I think, like I said, the brand is really cool. And I think you're bringing a positive energy and a positive impact to people that listen and that are involved with your different passions. So why don't you tell me a little bit and tell the listeners a little bit about specifically your act, if you will, your presentation, and what's going on that you want people to know about.
Sure. Well, I consider myself a singing light worker, and that means that I'm following my joy and having fun and making a living doing it, and also raising the frequency of the planet and everyone in it that's alive. So I'm very excited to be working on original music. And I consider the music I'm making high frequency music. So sometimes I'll use healing instruments. Sometimes I'll actually tune the music to certain frequencies that are, proven to be healing for different reasons. And then the other part of what I do is I do guided meditations. So I actually channel guided meditations, write them down, and then I'll go into the studio and I'll make the music for those. And the most recent release after the Christmas songs was Seven Spheres of Light. That was the guided meditation album to balance all the chakras. Those songs are really beautiful. They're about 10 minutes each, and there's about 7 songs on the album. And each one specifically balances one of your energy centers, each chakra. And then I also had an animator create animated videos that go along with them. So it's a totally different healing experience when you're watching the animated videos. So you can listen to the album, you could watch the videos. And I also created an ebook to teach people about what chakras are and how to use the album throughout their life to help them get through emotional and physical challenges. And there's my dog barking.
I was going to actually ask you about that. Like, did you learn how to do this? How does someone come into being a light worker or light warrior? I think you said to me one time, which I like that.
I love the light warrior because I'm fiercely trying to create positivity and shine my light really brightly to help others through music and my meditations. And originally, about 12 years ago, I got into holistic health and, essential oils. And I started eating a very clean, organic diet. I stopped putting chemicals in my body and my health improved. My intuition opened up and I was happier and I got sick less and less. And then I became a Reiki master, which is an energy healer. And just getting into that whole holistic world, there's so much you can learn and so many beautiful holistic modalities that are here on earth to help us get through life. And I realized the more I studied, the more I got into I'm going to learn about tuning forks and how I could use tuning forks and different instruments during my healing practice. And it just evolved over time And, I was really happy doing that, but I started singing again. I was a professional singer for a long time. And then while I was doing my holistic healing practice, I missed singing. And it just was like this natural progression to integrate my musical talent into the healing. And I learned about the healing frequency tones, and there's actual solfeggio tones that match up with different parts of your body. So if you are feeling sad, or you're feeling sick, or you want to work on love, or you're having problems with relationships, there's different tones I can actually put into the music and tune my instruments a certain way to get those tones to actually heal your body. Frequency is so interesting. So I try to infuse all of my music and meditations with healing. And as I was doing the holistic practice, it wasn't enough. And then I started singing the cover band. And then I was like, I have to stop singing other people's songs and really go full time into creating my own music. And actually, I started 2 years ago dreaming of songs, dreaming of this my higher self, my beautiful spiritual side. The best version of myself is, your soul. And I started to dream of this whole character and this whole story of me jumping to different dimensions and creating graphic novels. And there's stories for all the original music and the songs. So it was just, it downloaded into my head, and I was like, I guess I have to do this, because it was like given to me somehow from the universe, or as I was opening up my intuition and studying mediumship and, holistic health, it just naturally went there. So I don't know, like many musicians say they dream songs, or they feel like there's a muse, or they're connected to that universal consciousness somehow. So whatever is going on, I'm very grateful, because it's very clear what I have to do each day. And I say thank you every day. And I'm really excited to finally get all the music out, because I've been spending the entire quarantine creating original music and meditations. So now I feel like this year I'm ready to release everything. And I think it's much needed, because everyone seems very stressed and upset.
Well, and it's so interesting hearing everything you're talking about. And I've known you, I guess, all along these different paths that you've gone on. And so I recently have been trying to have some sort of awakening. And so everything you're talking about sounds so interesting to me. And I want to be learning more about it every day. I've been reading a lot of different books and, learning about different cultures. I think a lot of stuff that Buddhism talks about is very interesting. I think just the basis beyond the fact that, you're in control of the things that happen to you in life. I think that, that sort of thing has made an impact on me. And I think this is the sort of thing that everyone needs. And I feel like now is the time that more people are awakening than ever before. And I think it's necessary. So, you have the meditation album, which is so great. And you have some great musicians on there. And it's really high end, guys. You definitely need to go out and check that out. It's funny because in the morning, every time I wake up, I say, I tell Google to play, morning meditation music. Now I'm going to say, Google, play Tabytha Polaris, and see if that works. Because honestly, I think that's something that's so important for a human condition. And the soul is trying to find time to be that outside soul that's listening to the person talking, because you're not that same person. And that's something that's helped me. That one little thing, that and the fact that Buddhism says that you are in control of the things you're doing. Your suffering is based on you. You're creating your own suffering. So you can't really blame the world or blame God. It's you doing it to yourself. So that's the kind of stuff that all people should have. And you're doing so many things. You also have a podcast. I was going to say that you are so great on radio. I didn't even have to talk, but which is great for me and everyone. But you have a podcast. So tell us a little bit about that.
So I'm the host of the Tabytha Polaris Show podcast, which is available on all podcast places to listen to. And I discuss provocative topics about holistic health, spiritual ascension, metaphysical topics. And I interview light workers or holistic health practitioners that are experts in their field. And I'm in the community. So, it's anyone that I feel guided to invite, I invite. And it's just a wonderful conversation to help others awaken to their spiritual ascension and just live their best life. So that show I've loved, and I end all the shows with a guided meditation with healing music. So it's been really nice. And I just started live streaming them on my YouTube channel. And so I'm really excited to have the podcast. But one thing I forgot to tell you about Seven Spheres of Light album real quick was I started each song with that Rav Vast drum that I bought from Russia.
Right, yes.
And then I would add a crystal singing bowl that matched up with each chakra. And then I would just like add instruments. And Brendan Keenan from Cove City Studios in Glen Cove was my producer. Right. And anything I couldn't play, he could play. So it was like just a magical partnership.
Shout out Richie Canada, of course.
Totally.
And Aaron and everybody over there. And honestly, I'm sorry. I was going to say, like, you've really been a connector and somebody that has been able to be really in tune with the world for a long time. I mean, look, your husband's one of my best friends. And, my connection with him and our relationship has been hugely important to me. So,
funny story. Funny story about that. I was told by my spirit guides to connect you two.
See, that's really wild because
that I didn't know what you would do together, but I thought we needed to do something together or meet.
Yeah,
so I'm happy it all worked out. So
really has.
I'm really excited to release the two first singles of the original music. Because I don't even know how to describe the music, but it's definitely unique and kick butt at the same time. So it's kind of like kick butt spiritual.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, it's really cool. But Water is about the healing powers of water. And
that's right. I forgot. Like you're a metal chick from back in the day too. Or should I not say that?
No, it keeps. I love.
I remember that.
I love rock music. I love alternative rock. I love metal. So here I am doing all these Zen things, and I was like, my wild side's gonna come out. So I created a character called my shadow self, and it's definitely like one. A few songs are definitely progressive rock, and then each version of myself are from different dimensions is a different genre. So that's what I'm doing right now because I love all different types of music. And then once I get a few singles out, I'm going to have the small group of fans that I have that are in my inner circle mailing list vote on what style they want me to do the full album in. So it's going to be fun.
And that's going to be wild once we're allowed to do performances again, too. You almost have to hire some, secondary people that are going to play you, or you're going to have like costume changes with every song like running next running out.
I was wondering how I was going to do the translation. I'm definitely going to do some really cool movies, short films.
You gotta
do the stories. Totally. The Jones Beach band shell is actually a portal in the story.
Yes.
So me and the band run and as our Earth selves through the Jones Beach portal tunnel, and then pop out on the other side in our higher self outfits, and go on all these adventures. So it's kind of hilarious what I'm writing. It's really funny, but. It's fun, and I think we all need to have fun.
Yeah.
And there's also a beautiful hidden healing to everything I do, but I also like to rock out and have fun. So I'm really excited to get everything out. And the song Earth was really cool because I grabbed one of my best friends from the music industry that we've worked in so many projects together, David Connolly, and we wrote that song together. And he said it just helped him get through all this COVID stuff. And it was a highlight for him during this time. And that song is so cool. I mean, there's mandolin, I play a flute solo, there's rockin' acoustic drums, live drums, technology drums, the electric drums. It's a really cool song, and it's a little bit kick butt, but has a folky side to it. I play the Rav on it too. And it's just so cool because it's so free to just be in the studio and just be able to write a song and not even know where it's going to go, and not have to have some company tell you it has to sound a certain way. So all this magic is being created in the studio, and it's so beautiful. So that song, I cannot wait to get out. That's about the healing powers of earth and grounding, and how you can go for a walk in nature and heal yourself, So that's a really cool concept.
Guys, if you're not interested in Tabytha Polaris by now, then you have serious serious issues because I mean, she just gave you like 20 different things that could be interesting. And you're almost, you're like a spiritual psychologist. Like you can bring somebody in and do so many things. Like you can bring them in to be like, let's say Reiki is something you can hire, right? But you could almost do all these different things for people. So I do have to kind of, let you go here because we could literally go all day long. Can you tell us about where we can find you online and
Sure.
if there's anything else going on, maybe the next time the podcast is coming up, you can give a little shout on that?
Sure. You can find me on all social media sites under Tabytha Polaris. I spell my first name with a Y. And I'm on Telegram, which is my favorite new uncensored social media channel. And my website is tabythapolaris.com. And you can find everything that I'm doing on the website, all the music, all the albums, the podcast, and events, and learn more about my healing holistic center. Everything I do is on the website. So I'm really happy to everyone listening to get to know you all. You could join the mailing list so you don't miss out on any future releases. And Rick, thank you so much for having me today.
Thanks for coming on. It's Tabytha Polaris, everybody. Here's her next single that's coming out. It's called Water. It's on Rising Stars, the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.